This is a general reading for the collective for the full moon in Scorpio with a lunar eclipse, which is occurring at approximately 1:34 p.m. Eastern Time on the 5th. So it'll be a little bit late morning on the west coast of the U.S. and later in the day across the pond. So do check your local listings for wherever you may be on the planet. So before I jump in, I just want to let those of you, especially if you're new, know what is going to happen here. I'm going to talk a little bit about this full moon in Scorpio, what it means, what the energy signature is, who may be most impacted, and then I'm going to follow it with some announcements about private readings. If you are not interested in any of that information, this reading is time-stamped. You can just jump to the Oracle and you'll see me pull some Oracle cards and the tarot reading will follow. So I want to give those of you a chance who are not interested in the intro to look for those links to hyperlinks to click ahead. Okay, so I've curated some information from some of my favorite sources and I'm just going to read to you what I've got. Moon Omens talks about the full moon lunar eclipse will be powerfully felt for everyone. So that's the first thing. We're all going to feel it. Eclipses. We've had the solar eclipse with the second new moon in Aries 2 weeks ago. Now we kind of close out this particular eclipse season. This will be the last eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, the last lunar eclipse until 2031. So it's pretty big and powerful. But it's going to be especially impactful for those of you who have personal planets, and I'm going to tell you what those are in a minute, near the 15 degrees of fixed signs. So if you have any personal planets, now the sun and the moon are luminaries, they're not planets, but sun, moon, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. Those are our personal planets. If you have personal planets near 15 degrees of any of these signs, Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio, those are the 4 fixed signs, then this particular full moon and eclipse may be more impactful and you may find yourself standing at the threshold of a whole new phase of your life. And partly it's an empowerment journey. It's about taking back your power. So you can experience some endings, some big transformative transitions. Even the Moon Omens use the reference to metamorphosis, right? Like going from the caterpillar to the butterfly. So you're going to be called to close the door on a significant chapter perhaps of your life. And sort of open the pathway forward, because this eclipse in Scorpio is very close to the South Node. And the South Node is our past. It's what we came into this lifetime already knowing and feeling comfortable with because we've worked it out in past lives. If you don't believe in that, that's okay. It's still past stuff. And it's not where you're headed. It's what you need to release because it's getting in the way of where you're headed. So there could be some outdated coping strategies, maybe some unhelpful attachments and expectations that need to be released. So for those of you who have those personal planets or the sun and the moon near 15 degrees of Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, or Scorpio, yeah. I've got Venus there, so I got Venus at 15 degrees, so I am going to feel some things in the heart, okay? From Jean Wiley, she says when it comes to a lunar eclipse, especially in Scorpio, you've got to ask yourself what is in need of being released, since Scorpio is a sign associated with our deep emotions, and they're intense emotions, and they're mostly down deep in the psyche. Right? Scorpio rules the psyche, the 8th house of that deeper, darker shadow energy that lurks beneath the surface. Pluto is the ruling planet, which is also called the Lord of the Underworld. There's a reason for all of this intense verbiage, right? This intense language. So we're going to feel some intensity around this, and the lunar eclipse in this particular sign just amplifies the normal Scorpio energy. So we also have, because the full moon is always opposite the sun, we have an opposition, which is there's a tango there. There's something that needs to give. You feel tension. It's almost like rubber band tension. And over with the sun in Taurus, we've got Uranus in Taurus, very close to the sun. We have Mercury retrograde right there. So those planets together opposite the full moon, right? The competition of the luminaries and an eclipse suggests some breakthroughs and possible surprises, since Uranus is the planet of expect the unexpected. Anything can happen and probably will. So there could be some big breakthroughs for some of us. There could be some surprises and twists and turns. And then there's this lovely connection called a trine from Mars in Cancer, and that indicates more of a little bit of harmonious flow of energy and potential for action and initiative. So some things may be a little unexpected, but then we get this supportive energy of Mars, which isn't really comfortable in Cancer, but it's the geometry that says, oh, okay, you can do this. We're going to give you a soft place to land so you can take the action and go in the direction you're meant to go. But overall, this lunar eclipse in Scorpio can be a time of change and transformation, with the potential for both some challenges but also some opportunities. And then we're going to have a powerful new moon in Taurus that arrives, I think, around the 19th of May, and that's going to bring the sense of a fresh start, external developments, things making progress, new chapters being explored. So if things kind of feel like they're falling away and like the balloon strings are slipping out of your hands for this particular lunation, trust that in 2 weeks, the new path may be revealed. So from Michael Lennox, one of my favorites, he says to understand the energies of this particular full moon in Scorpio with a lunar eclipse, it's helpful to use the imagery of psychic surgery. And that doesn't mean psychic like I see dead people psychic. It means our psyche. And it's like surgery of the psyche. So he says, we have Venus and Neptune, or Venus connecting with Neptune is like the anesthetic, because matters of the heart in the fog machine of Neptune, it kind of feels like we get a little woozy and fuzzy. And then we have Venus also connecting one way to Neptune and the other way to Jupiter. That allows us to kind of feel free and unencumbered and open about change and potential transformation. And that's like the feeling kind of high as a kite as you're being wheeled into the operating room. So the eclipse will bring tremendous change, transformation, purification even, and the potential for revolutionary changes in our direction. So this isn't all going to happen at the time of the full moon eclipse, but it's a process we've been building to, and then it will dissipate. And over the next 2 weeks, when the new moon in Taurus comes in, there's the fresh start, and we can look back and see what we decided not to bring forward. Okay, so that's the energy. It might be bumpy for some of us because some of us fixed signs don't like change, but I say change is good. I have had to reinvent myself more times than I care to admit, and every time I have found my life better for it. So I hope you'll take my little sliver of optimism there. Okay, so that's the Scorpio information. I did it in under 10 minutes. Whoop, whoop. Here's what's going on with private readings. They are back online. They're available now. There's a link below this video and in every video starting as of May 2nd. So Aries has seen it because I did the Aries reading. Taurus has seen it and I did the Taurus reading. And people are booking readings. Now, some of you have had some trouble, so let me clear this up. You cannot book from a cell phone. There's some kind of glitch in the system. I have a support ticket in, but it works from a tablet like an iPad, and it works from a desktop or a laptop, but it does not seem to be sending you to where you need to go from a cell phone. So if you want to book a reading, please don't use your cell phone. And get to a laptop, get to a desktop, get to an iPad or some other tablet, and go to that link, click on the link, There's a video to watch, and that's probably what the problem is the bandwidth is too big for a cell phone. There's a 4-minute video. Beneath the video is what you get, what it costs. I only have one offer. And what you're really booking is my time. So you're not picking a specific date. It's not going to be live. It's, you're going to book the reading. There's a questionnaire to fill out. Once I get your questions back, I will record the reading for you, and then I will upload it and send you the link to that, okay? So that's just a snapshot. There's more information there, but that's what's happening. Yay! If you've been waiting for this for a long time, find your way to a laptop and go see what it's all about, okay? Okay. So now we're on to the Oracle. Hallelujah. Let's see, how long did that all take? Okay, we're good. We're good. So I'm just pulling from Sacred Traveler. I like to look at where we've been, where we are, where we're headed when it comes to these lunations. Ooh, oh, this is so perfect. Okay. I love all of it's perfect. So where we've just come from, and we had 2 new moons in Aries, the second one with a solar eclipse, right? And what was that about? Answering the call. The time is now, right? That solar eclipse in the new moon energy. The new moon is when we set intentions. So it's like answering the call. The time is now. Look at her kind of running out the door. Where are we right now? Choosing your path. All is possible. Absolutely. This full moon, we have to release what's getting in the way. Here we're at the door, heading toward the path. Here we're on the path. What's in the way? What needs to be released? What isn't serving us? In that moment of the lunar eclipse, when Earth comes between the sun and the moon, it's like a power down for a moment, right? And then it's like we power down the computer comes back up, and it's all refreshed. And the gunk that was in there is kind of gone. Choosing your path, all is possible. Where are we headed? Narrow pathway. Tread thoughtfully. So when that new moon that I just referenced in Taurus comes, the options may seem a little narrower, right? Because we've just purged a lot of stuff. Think of the psychic surgery. We got rid of some stuff, and now we're being told what we can eat while we're recovering, how much sleep we need, how like, can we exercise? You know how when you get out of a procedure, there are some parameters you have to follow during the healing process. That's what I think this card is pointing us to, a narrow pathway where we have to tread more thoughtfully and carefully as we move forward in the new you energy after the full moon in Scorpio. So I absolutely see the progress we've made. I love that we answered the call. I love that we're choosing the path. And then as we go forward, the options kind of come into, a more narrow focus. And we have to be very thoughtful about it. I like it. And oh, by the way, that new moon will happen after Mercury stations direct. So that clarity of the thoughtfulness will be available to us. That feels good to me. All right, let's jump in. This is a reading for the collective. 3 of Pentacles is the overall energy. The Death card, there's Scorpio right there, right there. We have 7 of Wands. I'm just doing it like this because the extended energies will be over here. Okay. I'm going to take this on the bottom because it's the moon, and that confirms my thoughts about the last card out. So what we see here, maybe I'll just move it a smidge, is the present energy is about cooperation, co-creation, being on the same page at the same time. The challenge is it happening? Is it realistic? Is it something we might need to let go of? Right? The Death card here is Scorpio's energy. It is the death and rebirth, the growth, change, and transformation card. So if you're not on the same page at the same time, it's kind of hard to make any progress. In unconscious awareness, the 7 of Wands. And I love this deck because she's sitting there with her hands and face turned, and it's like saying, no, I know what I stand for. I know what I desire. Wands are always about desire. Head is turned. Those are my terms. I'm not accepting what you're putting at me. It's very much self-protective. It can be construed as defensive and or resistance, but this deck isn't coming through that way for me. This deck always comes through with the more positive outlook of the energy expressed. So there may be some, you may not be on the same page, and you may actually both be sort of at cross purposes, okay? Standing your ground, what your terms are, and nobody's changing, and so something kind of has to shift. In the past, 10 of Swords. So we already had a painful ending here. It's kind of hard to come back from that unless you both see it and get on the same page. How many times am I going to say that in this reading? Probably a lot. In your conscious awareness, this is the Judgment card. Second chances, forgiveness, redemption, reunion, reconciliation. This is Pluto. So the fact that we have Pluto and Scorpio here together, Pluto rules Scorpio, tells me that this is very much about this full moon energy. Something's got to give. Someone's got to forgive. If you want this connection, how do you get past this 10 of Swords of the past? Only with forgiveness, right? Going forward, though, the Lovers. It's a choice. You have to choose each other. You have to choose each other. We can't always get everything we want. So I feel like what I'm missing here is the Six of Wands, which is the negotiation part of it, right? Coming together to make peace, extending the olive branch, and coming out with a win-win outcome. That's the card I want to see, and I don't see it here. Maybe it will come through in the clarifiers. So going forward, all the energies coming out for where this might be headed. What's it about? 10 of Pentacles. It's the future, life partnership, Knight of Swords. But we've got to clear the air. There's this sense of something may be slipping away. And so we have to kind of clear up misunderstandings. And then we have the Devil. And the Devil here, and that's why I'm glad I picked the Moon as well from the bottom of the deck. The Devil is basically, but there's fear built in. There's egoic resistance. There's negative karmic tension coming from something that we don't want to let go of. A position or a thought or a perception that we're holding on to like we're chained to it. That's the energy of the Devil. Is like we're enslaved to these energies. And why are we? Because of fear. Okay, so outside of conscious awareness, I pull from the bottom of the deck. That's what I'm tapping into, is fear. What might happen? I don't know. I'm apprehensive. I'm uncertain. I don't trust my intuition on this. I feel like I may be going down the wrong road. Whatever it is that the ego brings up from fear. And guess what? That is likely what has to be released in this full moon going forward. Okay, so pretty spot on for full moon energies. Let's jump in with some clarifiers and get the details. Three of Pentacles, death and rebirth. Yeah, lots of worry, right? Look. This has been painful, and there's lots of fear around maybe something slipping through your hands. Your person isn't invested the same way you are, to the same degree you are. Maybe you're not seeing things similarly. You're not on the same page. For whatever reasons, and it's causing a lot of heart heaviness. Is it time to let this go? Worried about it, trying to stay open with this beautiful energy of the Empress underneath. So in unconscious awareness, it is divine feminine that's running the show in your psyche. Okay, saying stay open, stay receptive, don't shut this down, don't shut it out. There's opportunities for growth. Is it a challenge? Yeah, of course it's a challenge. Nothing worthwhile in life comes easy. That's the first thing. But if something's hurting you, there are decisions that have to be made. So let's look at the Seven of Wands in unconscious awareness. Tower, right? Yeah, it's like, nope. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I'm gonna go forward on my own. In unconscious awareness, this is what you're telling yourself. I just want to heal from this and do my own thing. Nine of Pentacles, the single person in the tarot. Seven of Wands, her head's turned away from what? Tower energy. Yep, nope. Already been there. Don't want to repeat that experience. So in our unconscious awareness, we're kind of holding on to some form of resistance and self-protective energy from something we've been through that's caused us some pain. So now let's look at the Ten of Swords. Wow, guys, this is like more spot on than I could imagine. I don't always feel that way. Okay, so there was a failure to launch here. The Ace of Wands is coming through reversed because it's landing on the Ten of Swords as a clarifier. I feel like, you know, things kind of, energies ran hot and passions ran high, and then it flamed out. It just flamed out. And the truth is, both parties did not choose this connection at the same time. That's what we're talking about here. It's a choice, and we all have free will. And just because one of us chooses the energy of the partnership, of the connection, doesn't mean the other one is fully invested. Okay, so I feel like that's what happened. This Ten of Swords energy feels like that was a bit shocking. The Ace of Wands coming out reversed, you know, just flamed out too fast, seeing things clearly, or trying to see things clearly with this Ace of Swords, like, oh, okay, so maybe it's not what I thought it was. And now we have Judgment. Yeah. So, again, I'm seeing this sort of energy of what's going to serve my path. Judgment, the path to forgiveness, always allows us to leave behind what doesn't serve us anymore. So I don't see it as a walking away per se. The Eight of Cups is also, we've already accumulated enough insight and awareness on an emotional level, and yet we are still journeying. We're still looking for the Two of Cups when we've got the Eight of Cups, if that makes sense. So it's about the path forward, and I'm feeling like, because the next card out is the Ten of Cups, that's exactly the message here. Judgment is, let me make peace with this so I can leave behind what I don't want to carry forward, because where I'm headed is to the Ten of Cups. And that's coming through as very stabilizing, as very much grounding in that intention. And even though we're not setting intentions with the full moon, we're doing release, we can have an intention of what we're releasing. So that's a little nuanced language there, but I always still write it out for my full moon ritual of my intentions to release. Because to me, it's not just about what I want to release, it's what am I committing to? What is my intention here? Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now let's go to the Lovers. I mean, and if you want this version of the connection with this person or with anyone else, you have to start from forgiveness and letting go and continuing on your path and clearing the path of what you don't need to repeat. Especially on a karmic level, since we have the Devil here, that's ego bringing us back into familiar patterns. It's sort of how the brain works, right? We have neural pathways, and that's the path of least resistance. They're already created. But when we try to go a new way, the brain says that does not compute. And then ego comes in and says, danger, Will Robinson, be careful. You might, wait for it, get your heart broken. You don't want to do that. And that to me is the energy of the Devil that I'm seeing here going forward, is that return, or that potential return to old patterns and egoic resistance, because we're making big changes. We're having psychic surgery. Okay, so let's look at the Lovers going forward. Yeah, I don't see either of you letting go of this connection. I think you're both holding fast because you value it. Four of Pentacles, sometimes the Four of Pentacles is, you know, very guarded energy. But because the Strength card lands on it and underneath is the healing energy and miracles of the star, I feel like this Strength card says more than the Four of Pentacles. It says we can do this together. If we just hold on, if we commit, if we choose this at the same time, if we're both in it together to win it, a miracle can happen. Remember I said Uranus is right there near the sun and opposite the moon, so expect the unexpected. Some surprises are in store. I think some miracles are in store as well. Not sure if I already said this, but it's lawn day here, so if you hear some mowers, edges, blowers, and I stop talking, it's only because it sounds way louder to me than it does to you. Okay, so 10 of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. Ah, beautiful. All right, so something will be cleared up. There will be open, frank discussion. Here's what I'm looking at. Our 10 of Pentacles here is the future. The Knight of Swords is about communication that clears up misunderstandings, right? A clearing of the air, a speaking of truths. A creation of some clarity, an offer of clarity. And it's coming in with King of Swords energy. And the King of Swords is very honorable. There's good energy behind the King of Swords in this particular part of the reading, because what's coming off of that is that Death card, the change, growth, transformation that feels so challenging right here at the beginning of the reading. In the outcome, it's like, no, we can do this. We can come together. This is our crossroads moment. This is where we both get to reunite, reconcile differences, offer and receive forgiveness, second chances, and even some redemption. But there is a willingness. It's part of the strategy. I see the King of Swords as a strategist to make sure the air is clear, that there are no misunderstandings about where things are headed, and that paves the way for the transformation that this powerful lunation will ultimately bring. And underneath an unconscious awareness, you both want to work this out. You both want to see it become something more than where it is right now. Now I'm going to clarify our friend here, the devil with the moon that came from the bottom of the deck. Yeah, perfect. One step at a time, guys. You can work through it. Wish fulfillment is possible. So let me hold this up in my teeny tiny hands. This is a little opposite of how I normally do it. So conscious awareness, we have devil, we have ego, we have the brain's old patterns kicking in and saying, no, don't let that go. Don't let that go. That's your safety. That's your break glass in case of emergency. And that's not necessarily true. And the moon in our unconscious awareness, it's like, wow, this is uncomfortable. I am not sure where I'm headed. I don't know. Maybe my intuition is off. But if you want wish fulfillment, it's going to take some work. 8 of Pentacles. Focus on creative solutions to a problem. Don't just submit to fears. Don't submit to insecurities. Don't submit to feeling triggered when something new presents itself. You can be happy. You can have wish fulfillment, but it takes work and focus and dedication, and the two of you putting your heads together and taking it one little baby step at a time, because there's something new to be learned here. I love the Page of Pentacles as the last card out from the bottom of this deck, because it suggests there will be a new way of being in this connection. And isn't that what we all want? Because what we got is not working for us. I don't know about you. I don't want to be up all night worried about this kind of ish. Nope, I don't. I want to be receptive, but if that's way down there in the psyche, it's going to take some surgery to get that to the top, from the bottom of the deck to the top of the deck, if you get my meaning. So this is absolutely the full moon in Scorpio with lunar eclipse. energy coming through in this reading. I'm going to give you the astrology, but before I do, there's a link in the description box below in the first sentence that will take you to the extended, and that goes all around the zodiac, Aries through Pisces. I do mini spreads for the individual signs. It's good for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. You can watch for your own signs. You can watch as a cross watcher, so you have potentially 8 messages coming through. And it's all based on this reading. So we'll see what might need to be released. We'll see what you're bumping up against. We'll see what might be unfolding going forward, okay? Whew, this has been amazing. The Death card is Scorpio. The Empress is Venus, Taurus, and Libra. The Tower is Mars. We got all the personal planets coming through here, which rules Aries. Pentacles is Virgo. 9 of Pentacles is Virgo. The Lovers is here twice. That's Gemini. Judgment is here twice. That's Pluto, which rules Scorpio. We have the Strength card is Leo, fixed sign. We have the Star, which is Aquarius, fixed sign. Remember how I said all the fixed signs are impacted? We have the King of Swords, Aquarius, fixed sign. We've got the Death card a second time. That's Scorpio, also a fixed sign. I said Pluto there in the Judgment card. The Devil is Capricorn. The Moon is Pisces. And our little page of Pentacles is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So that's what I have for you, my loves. Thanks for joining me. The link to the extended is below. I'll see you there in a second. Full moon blessings to all.